Hey, family, this is Terrance, the Unstoppable Coach Leffridge with Unstoppable Coaching, and you are listening and watching the Next Level Living Show with Coach Terrance. Thank you so much for being a part of this broadcast this evening. The Next Level Living Show brought to you by Unstoppable Coaching Services. Unstoppable Coaching Services, where we help you create your vision, implement your vision, and more importantly, help you be accountable to making your vision a reality. I am Terrance, the Unstoppable Coach Leffridge, and I thank you as always for joining us on the Next Level Living Show, where we talk to ordinary people doing extraordinary things to live their life on the next level. We've got another exciting show for you tonight, and I just wanted to, as always, tell you that the reason this show was created, this vision that God gave me to talk about living life on the next level, was birthed out of a desire to not only meet and talk to people who have made it to the top of the mountain, but to talk to people who are on their journey to making it to the next level. Family, it's in the journey where we build our character. It's in the journey where we learn what we're made of. It's in the journey that the vision and the purpose for our life is created. Nobody is born already ready for their purpose. There are a lot of things that we have to go through in our life that prepares us for the purpose that God ultimately created us for. And because you go through that journey, then you are able to live on the next level. But we don't always know what our purpose is. We know there's things that we know how to do. We know there's some things that we know how to do well. And we know there's some things that we love to do. But sometimes we have to see somebody else doing the things that we love to do, or see somebody else doing the things that we want to do, in order to learn that it's possible for us to do that ourselves. And that's what the Next Level Living Show is at its core. It's introducing you to people who are on their journey, people who are trying to be doctors, people who are trying to be lawyers, people who are trying to be entertainers and coaches and motivational speakers who are on their journey to the next level, so that it showcases them and helps them to keep moving forward in their journey, but also it lets you know that it's possible for you to do it. We have another exciting guest this evening that's going to be talking to us about purpose. She's actually going to be talking to us about the 6 reasons you should be pursuing your purpose. And her name is no other than Brenda Small out of the District of Columbia. She is a real estate broker. She's a motivational speaker. She is one of 10 children, and that in itself has a powerful story of how she went through that journey, being one of 10 children, going through her obstacles to be living the successful life that she's living right now. So without further ado, let's welcome to the show Brenda Small. Brenda, how are you?
I'm great. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. How are you?
I'm doing unstoppable. Thank
Great.
you. Thank you for being part of the Next Level Living show. And let's take an opportunity real quick to let the audience know who you are and what you do.
Well, let's see. Let me start with the business of Powered with Potential. I am the founder and CEO of Powered with Potential LLC in Washington, D.C. We offer professional mentoring, coaching, consulting services for women that are basically starting up in business or have the aspiration to start up in business and just don't know where to start, that are stuck. And that was me for a long time. I was a career professional working in the federal service and knew that there was more, knew that I had more to give, and I was stuck in place. I was frozen with fear, actually. And so because I know what it's like to be a smart, talented young woman who desires more, not quite sure how to get there, I am passionate about helping other women along, to give them a guiding hand, a roadmap, a plan for how to transition basically from employment to entrepreneurship, and that's what Power with Potential is about. Uh, I call it basically that we prepare women to answer the wake-up call and turn off that snooze button, and then get dressed to meet their greatest potential and create the change that they want to experience in their own life. So I actually have a Powered with Potential pledge that I'd like to have your members, your viewers, actually say along with me and just experience.
Okay.
I'll go into a little bit more about my background and my childhood and how I've gotten myself to what I'll call the next level when we get to that part. So let's start off by taking the Powered with Potential PWP pledge. And I want your viewers to say it with affirmation and say it with power.
Okay, and Brenda, before you go there, also, you guys, if you are watching this broadcast live right now, you can join us in the Next Level Living Show Facebook chat room. All you got to do is click down below where it says click here, and that's going to instantaneously push you over to the Next Level Living Facebook chat room. And when you go there, as we always like you to do, we want you to put your name, where you're from, and give us a little bit of information about yourself. And when we do the PWP pledge, I'm hoping that somebody in the chat room right now will also put that in the chat room so that we can save it for later. So again, just click here below where those big green letters say click here, and that's going to send you over to the Facebook chat room. We'll be checking in periodically through the show to see who's listening live, see if they have any questions for you, Brenda, and we'll go from there. Okay? So right back to you, Brenda.
That sounds great. And let me also just stress what we call the rules of engagement so that all of the viewers are engaged with us tonight and participating in the conversation. And so there'll be a number of things that I want you to post and tweet. And so first off, if you're over in the exclusive room,
the Next Level Living Facebook
next level
chat room.
living space, you can do a hashtag Powered with Potential. Let's start there. Hashtag Powered with Potential.
All right, hashtag Powered with Potential.
Right.
Fabulous.
There's also what I'll call the virtual parking lot, and that is where you're coming into this session this evening to, again, gain information and gain confidence and gain courage and so many other things. And so the things that we allow to distract us. So I want you to just forget about your day, come in with an open mind, and anything that you feel is going to be a distraction, put it in the parking lot. Let's just park it in the virtual parking lot. Let's just lay those burdens down so we can move forward this evening and have a great time.
I love it.
Are you ready for the Powered with Potential pledge?
We are ready, Brenda.
All right. So I pledge that every day I will answer the wake-up call, turn off the snooze button, and get dressed to meet my greatest potential. I am powered with potential. I am powered with the potential to influence my life's outcomes. And life gives me options. I get to choose, and I will choose carefully and wisely. I, and only I, am responsible for my success.
I love it. I love it. You know, and again, that's something that you can repeat each and every day when you're getting up in the morning and before you go to sleep at night. You have the ability to choose your destiny, your potentials. And I love how you say choose carefully and choose wisely. What made you pick those two words in the pledge?
It's so important to be focused and centered. And we do so many things every day. There's so many things coming at us. I mean, life hits you hard and life hits you fast, as we say.
Yes.
And so we want to be centered. We don't want to just bring in anything and everything into our existence because that's not productive and that's not helpful and that's not useful. So choose wisely and choose carefully because our time is not ours. Our time is very limited. We don't know how long we're going to be here. And so we don't want to waste time. And that's why I chose those particular words.
Fabulous. So let's go back a little bit. So when did you start the Powered with Potential company that you're doing right now? And tell us a little bit about your your personal transition from working in government to doing your own thing.
Power with Potential was a idea that I came up with about a year ago. Actually, probably before then, but actually materialized it a year ago. And like so many professional women, I too, as I mentioned, was stuck. I knew that I had a lot to offer, the skills, the gifts, the talents, and I was coming into my own. It's been, again, from childhood, and we'll talk about that, the transition from that into early adulthood, into middle adulthood, and to now. You talked about, or you mentioned success. Honestly, I don't believe, while I've had many, many accomplishments and achievements, that I am at the top. You know, I have not reached the
Okay,
top of the mountain yet. I am still
understand.
climbing. I'm still searching. I'm still learning. I'm still growing. Lifelong learning to me is just a critical part of the journey. And so while we acquire a lot of wisdom and a lot of knowledge, I don't think any of us ever knows it all. And so I'm an open vessel to be used and to continue to be filled so that I can pour out into others. That's how PWP actually evolved. It was because I see so many women, including myself, not quite sure how to maneuver life's plans, life's obstacles, life's struggles. And it's been as a result of those challenges that I have grown, that I have learned to really cope with many things that, honestly, I would have used a lot of worry over previously. So I take things more in stride now. You know, I go with the flow more now because it's a necessity if I'm going to really accomplish even more than I have in the past.
I
So
like that. I like that a lot, and I think that's important for people who are on a similar journey to you. Uh, n- this is a stressful thing to jump out of what some may consider your comfort zone. I too used to work in a government job many years ago, and it got comfortable. And I tell this story all the time that because of that comfort, there were things, there were purposes, there were plans that were for my life that I didn't really pursue because of that comfort. And then people also tend to think that because you're doing your own thing, that the world is your oyster, that everything is hunky dory, that you're living the life, and that it's not the same amount of stress that you had when you were working for someone else. When in reality, it's even more stressful because now you're accountable to yourself, your family, and your business, as opposed to just those first two things working for someone else. Would you find that your experience right now as well, Brenda?
absolutely. And here's the deal. When I was working with the Federal Service, my other background actually is human resources. So I was working with the Federal Service. My last assignment was actually at the Pentagon, which in and of itself is truly an accomplishment for someone to be able to
Yes.
say that. What I found was myself being very restless, uh, feeling a sense of just turmoil, and living paycheck to paycheck. Good government job, good salary, good benefits, but those are in and of themselves traps often. I knew that there was more that I could do. I knew that my gifts could be expanded and reach so many more people when it came to speaking, or including some other certain skills that I have. And again, I was not quite sure how to maneuver out of that because of all the what ifs. Well, what if I can't pay my bills? What if I can't go get food? What if it doesn't work out? And so for 5 years, I actually worked the real estate, which I would have never imagined I would be, again, in real estate and as successful as I am. But for 5 years, I worked side by side the government job and then real estate, to the point where the real estate started overtaking my whole being. It was
Mm.
from the beginning a passion. From the beginning, I hit the ground running. And so what was considered a dual career turned into a full-time career. And I realized I can't do both of these anymore. And I
Right.
really want to do real estate. So I asked myself, now it took me 5 years to get enough courage to finally say, I'm out of here. I'm out of here because one, it was a time where the government was downsizing. I could see some writing on the wall, although I would have been too young then, still too young to retire, as we say. There was no early outs that I was available or eligible for. And so, there's never enough time, there's never just the right amount of money saved up. And things just aren't perfect. But I realized I needed to make a move at that point in time. Why stay miserable? Why stay stuck in place? The good Lord had given me so many gifts and talents and skills to utilize. I could utilize them outside. So I asked myself, what's the worst thing that can happen? What's the worst thing that can happen? I get out. For some reason, real estate doesn't work out. I can't earn a living at it. Well, I could always go back to my good old government job. I could go into consulting. I could go into teaching. I have a degree in teaching. So it didn't even concern me whether it did or didn't work out. I knew that there were other options. Life gives us options, remember? We get
Yes.
to choose. And I will tell you that and it was all divinely inspired, I will certainly give credit where credit is due, that once I made that decision, in all honesty, I felt a burden of relief. There was never any second guessing. There was never any, why did I do this? I made a mistake. To this day, very satisfied, very pleased, very peaceful with that decision. And I resigned. I literally turned in a letter of resignation after 16 and a half years with the federal service. And I stepped out on big faith, capital B-I-G faith, into entrepreneurship. So I transitioned myself from employment to entrepreneurship.
And you know what? Let me stop you there because you said some fabulous things just in that statement right there that I know isn't even part of your presentation tonight. But I want to key back on this for the audience. Brenda said that it is never the right time. And it may never be the perfect circumstance. But listen to what she also said. At the time that she finally made the decision to step out and live in her purpose, she was calm. There were no regrets. There was no tension in that decision. And that's how it works when you know that you are on the right track and that you're living and walking in your purpose. It's not this, oh, what if, a feeling of energy and anxiety that you would think it would be. Is actually very calming and very reassuring. That doesn't mean that once you step out that there aren't going to be obstacles, there aren't going to be roadblocks, there aren't going to be setbacks. But the fact that you know that you made the right decision and that calm that comes over you is a feeling that everybody should want to have who's looking to live their life on purpose. And it was important for me to really bring that home, Brenda, because you said it so well. And I had that same experience when I stepped out into motivational speaking and into a coaching. Have there been setbacks? Yes. Am I living on the top of the mountain? No. Like you said, there's still room for growth. But each and every time I have the opportunity to do a show like this and introduce a talent like yourself to the world and give you exposure, I feel calm. I feel relaxed. I feel in my element. And that is just an overwhelming and humbling feeling to have on a daily basis. And I think it's something that everybody would love to have. Would you not agree?
I totally agree. And I think it's important to understand that it is about the journey. The journey travels over rough roads. The journey travels in valleys and up hills and around curves. There's roadblocks, there's detours, there's all of those things that are part of the journey. But those things make us build the character that we are, that we have today. And it's as a result of that that we become much more than, in fact, we are. I will take you back. I think the other important thing, too, is, and Scripture says, at the appointed time. So to everything there is a season.
Yes.
And at the appointed time, then it's our time to move, to step. We often see
Ecclesiastes
the children
3.
do that.
I
Exactly.
love it. I love it. I love it. So before we go any further, we are talking with Brenda Small. She is the owner of Powered with Potential LLC, and she's our guest on the Next Level Living show with Coach Terrance. And again, we want you to be a part of the conversation. If you're watching the show right now, you can click below and instantly go over to the Next Level Living Facebook chat room. Post a question, post your name, where you're from, and what you do, and then give us some feedback on how this show is doing for you. And we'll be checking in periodically to see who is in the Facebook chat room. I want to thank Jay Mack for registering for the show tonight. I want to thank John McClung for registering for the show. Addie Prince registered for the show tonight. Thank you, Addie, for registering for the show. And I hope you guys are listening live right now and enjoying the show. So back to you, Brenda. The one thing that I ask every guest that comes on the show is this. What's your definition of living life on the next level?
That's a great question. And I'm going to share with you, again, as a result of the journey and the experiences that I've gone through, so many people would consider the next level of living in a material sense. And I have evolved from that. That doesn't mean that I don't like or want material things, but it means so much more to me. Next level implies upward movement, climbing, rising. So I'm certainly looking to continue to do those things. But it also means I'm constantly moving to make decisions and take actions to move my life forward, to improve the conditions and circumstances, under which I have lived in before, and certainly there'll be some things that will come before me that I'll have to work through again. It also means, and I've mentioned this already, continuous growth and learning and the application of life's lessons. I give myself permission now to forgive my own mistakes. I didn't always do that. I didn't always know how to do that. I allow mental deliverance from the past, and I throw out the clutter, piece by piece. So there's still an internal cleanup process that even I'm going through that I think is so critical, particularly for women and women of color to go through. That clutter is past pain and hurts. There's poor decisions and misjudgments, fear, doubt, unforgiveness, and there's anything else that is a distraction and disruption to moving forward. It also means next level living to me, being honest with myself, and committing to the internal cleanup process as a lifelong obligation. Can't just do it once because you don't get all the junk out one time. We're constantly putting more stuff back inside of us and then pushing it down. It's like a garbage can. We keep putting more junk in, pushing down the garbage instead of getting it out. And that brings up excuses and, again, the barriers, the obstacles that we're self-imposing upon ourselves pretty much. Next level living for me, again, the whole evolution is now about embracing my spiritual gifts, my talents, my abilities, engaging in activities that encourage my spirit, that challenge my fears and my apprehensions, and that test my resolve. Because, again, I would have allowed that word, capital WORRY, to dominate my existence, in spite of the faith that I proclaim. It's honoring my purpose and commitment to finishing the life's assignment. And being a good steward of my resources, both time as well as money, and prioritizing first things first. Basically, the bottom line for me of next level living is about approaching life's circumstances from a renewed perspective now. A perspective of maturity and awareness and wisdom acquired and knowledge, learning, faith, and the expectation that what I want, I will receive and achieve, and I will relentlessly pursue it and go after it. Again, I didn't always do that, but I'm claiming the right now, and I'm more comfortable in my own skin and not looking at everyone else, what they're doing and how they're doing it, and trying to be like them. I am now
Wow.
Brenda Small. I'm with potential to do my thing. And again, a big part of that whole business was to help other women, particularly, come along.
You know, we could close the show right there. Brenda Small, the expectation of what I want, I will achieve because I am Brenda Small. I love it. You know, the mantra that I use is I am unstoppable. I can have anything I want because I am unstoppable. You've got to have that mantra that you can say on a daily basis and believe and you put it in a nutshell. When you're living on the next level, you're no longer worrying, you're no longer wondering. You believe that what you will have and what you want, you will achieve. So I love it. And if you don't get anything else out of this show this evening, know what Brenda said, that if you want it, when you're living on the next level, you will achieve it. We're talking with Brenda Small, Powered with Potential LLC, and she's going to now talk to us about the 6 reasons why you should be living on purpose. I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to turn the mic over to you, Brenda, get my notepad ready, and let's hear about those 6 reasons why you should live on purpose.
Okay, great. What I'd like to have your viewers do before we start that, to go to my website, which is www.brendasmall.com, and there, sign in, and then you will get a complimentary copy of our Powered with Potential pledge. We have a beautiful pledge that will be laminated that we will send to you. Then you can post it, and you can every day recite it and start off your day powered with potential, knowing what you've got.
Fabulous.
Albert Einstein has said, you can't solve a problem from the same level of thinking that created the problem. And so, again, as a part of the journey, getting ready to talk about our purpose, so I don't look at the O in obstacle the same way. That O now really stands for the O in opportunity, and the O in overcome, the O in outstanding challenges that offer opportunity to overcome the obstacles, to create solutions to the problems. So much of our purpose, our being, is in our perspective, in our mindset. And it's all about shifting the mindset. I titled this session From Welfare to Wealth. Now, that does not mean that I am wealthy monetarily or financially, but it does mean that I have come from actually being, as a child, independency, raised with welfare benefits, Social Security benefits, food stamps, having a life of lack and want and dependency. And coming from that, I recall as a young girl, again, walking to school on many occasions with holes in the bottom of my shoes, and shuffling along so that I was afraid if I lifted up my feet, someone would be able to see the holes in the shoes. So you have to, again, wait your turn often when you're the eldest of 10, which I did. And Mom and Dad separated when I was 14 years, actually getting ready to go into junior high school at that point in time. So you can only imagine some of that trauma, some of that devastation of one just not having, waiting my turn for the new dress, the new pair of pants, the new shoes. I mean, that was just a part of growing up. So when we talk about finding your purpose, I had to do that early on. I always had the ability to speak. I recall Miss Margaret Mann, who was actually was a second grade reading teacher, and I was in first grade at the time, coming into that class and asking for me to come with her. I thought, oh my gosh, what did I do? I was a good student. And she actually had me reading to the first and second graders for quite some time. Now, who would imagine? Here I am, a first grader, reading to first and second graders. But she saw my potential. So oftentimes people see your potential even before you do, before you even know about it. So from welfare was a reality for me. And moving through my life, you always have to do your best. You have to live life with excellence with everything that you do. Give 100% all the time, because you never know who's watching you. And much of my success, much of the accomplishments and the achievements have been as a result of somebody else watching me. and then tapping me on the shoulder to say, there's a job over here, there's something over here we'd like you to apply for or be a part of. Somebody else is watching me, and my life has journeyed that way, honestly. So it's taken me in different paths and different courses that I would not have imagined. The key, though, is to be ready to at least exercise the will, to at least try. I didn't know necessarily how to manage or what the board of directors of the Association of Realtors was all about. But when tapped on the shoulder, I answered affirmatively. Yes, I will try that. And then I believed that I was powered with potential and that the good Lord would give me all that I needed to then obviously be successful at accomplishing whatever those tasks were. That's what my journey has been about. So I am wealthy. I am wealthy because of my mindset of thinking about the wisdom that I've acquired. I always pray for, give me more wisdom. And hopefully that wisdom will then channel me into some other things that might be material, but that's not the real focus. And so I say that so that people, again, will get the mindset straight. We are powered with potential. There's four simple truths that I know. And that's one, that we are powered with potential. And two, life gives us options. We get to choose. Three, we are the creator of our own experience. We create our experience, and then we get what we allow into that experience, and that we are responsible for our life's outcomes. So we can't keep pointing fingers at other people and blaming them for what we don't have, what we didn't get, where we have not gone. It's all about us. It's all about how we view ourselves and what we're willing to take on for ourselves. So with that, let me lead into the 6 reasons that I believe we need to discover our purpose. And that's for, number 1, fulfillment, number 2, direction, number 3, stability, number 4, significance, number 5, provision, and number 6, time. And actually, I will give credit to Dr. Tony Evans, who I had heard probably about a year ago, actually do a sermon with those 6 elements. Now, I've taken those 6 elements and I've turned them into a Brenda Small powered with potential purpose, but they were just powerful words. And I thought, if that's what purpose is all about, then we can all have wonderful, happy, abundant lives. And why are we living, on the edge? Why are we living in worry? Why are we living in scarcity and in lack and in fear? So, what is purpose? I look at purpose as being the seed, the core of every living being. Our purpose is our own internal being. It's not what we do. People think, well, my purpose is, being a doctor or being a lawyer. Your I am is more important than your I do. So your purpose is all about who you are internally. And what's on the inside does show up on the outside. So again, that internal cleanup process is critical, At the core of every seed is a promise. I believe that. So every purpose carries a promise. And we're all, again, assigned a different purpose in life. We just need to find out what it is and then carry it out. So there's some questions that one can certainly ask. If there's something that you like doing, there's common threads there. What is it that you like doing all the time? What is your passion? What fuels you? What kinds of things interest you? What are you really good at? And you'll find, again, some commonality of what those things are. That may be what your purpose is. You may have more than one gift, for example. So every purpose also has a life assignment. And if you find your purpose, complete the assignment so that the promises for you actually may be fulfilled. And when we talk about gifts, again, there are so many of us who don't know what our gifts are. The process is pretty much the same. You would identify what your spiritual gifts are. And I say there's 4 ways of actually doing that. You have to know what they are. You have to sow your gifts, grow your gifts, and then bestow your gifts. And there's wealth in gifts. So open your gifts and unwrap your potential. I mean, gifts are meant to be given, not held on to. So knowing your gifts means understanding your gifts. How is it intended for you to use them, apply them? Collectively, they are for use, to give to others. Sowing it, planting it, hopefully in fertile ground, letting it take root, building a foundation, and then growing our gifts, increasing, multiplying, and spreading those gifts, and then bestowing them. You reap what you sow, as we say, and so harvest the mature blossoms, gather up, give to others for growth and nourishment. And that's what, again, helping to define your purpose is all about. So ask yourself, and I'm going to ask your viewers to write down and then ask themselves 5 key questions. And the first question is, what is my greatest gift? What do you think your greatest gift is? And how will you bestow it upon this earth before you actually depart this place? Number 2, am I serving that purpose? And how, if you are, and for whom? For just yourself? Let me just read you it's a quote, and I'm not sure who the author of this is, but it says, without purpose that is bigger than yourself, you are more likely to serve only yourself. Let me repeat that. Without purpose that is bigger than yourself, you are more likely to serve only yourself. And that's not what our purpose is really intended for. And number 3, if you're not serving your purpose, then why not? If you're not serving it, why not? Number 4, what date? Now I'm being specific here. What date will I begin the process of walking in my purpose and serving? And number 5, key question. What's holding me back? What's holding you back from starting today? Not tomorrow, not a month from now, but today, right now. So let's talk about number 1, fulfillment. Well, what is fulfillment? Satisfaction, happiness. It's a result of developing your abilities and your character, achieving something, feeling good about something. And so I would ask your viewers, so how many of you are feeling dissatisfied and restless right now, as I have on so many occasions? And that's when something's going on within me. Something is stirring. There's something more that I should be doing when I get that way. So if you're feeling dissatisfied and restless, then ask yourself why. And jot down that reason. And that's what Power with Potential is all about. It's about really helping women to bring out from inside the things that are going on so they can clean it up and move forward. How long has this been going on? I mean, probably a lot longer than you want to admit, probably. And so what are you going to do about it? In any moment of decision, the best thing you can do is the right thing. The next best thing is the wrong thing. And the worst thing you can do is nothing. And that's a quote by President Theodore Roosevelt. So one of my favorite motivational speakers, and I quote him every time I speak, is Jim Rohn. And Jim Rohn says, start where you are with what you have. So you don't have to have all the time. You don't have to have just enough money, just enough resources. Use what you got. Use what you got and start from there. Interestingly enough, all that we are actually is shaped by our past. And yet, we can influence our outcome for the future. And we have to truly remember that. So, that promise I've talked about is living life and living it more abundantly. That's what Scripture says. So either we believe it or we don't. And I think it's worth finding and fulfilling our purpose just for that. Don't you? Number 2, direction. We have no control over the hand we're dealt. What we've been given, who we're born to, where we've lived, all of those things, again, were kind of handed down to us. And conditions, whether they're good, bad, or indifferent, that's part of us. That's just who we are. So remember that that promise also carries with it endless roads to unlimited possibilities. The universe is unlimited. The universe is abundant. There's no reason why we should not be tapping into that, by tapping into your potential to be more each and every single day. To arrive at a different destination, you must travel in a different direction. And that's a quote by none other than Brenda Small. And you can't travel the same route every day and wind up somewhere different. I mean, let's face it, life is not a free ride. Let's understand that. And there's a fare to be paid to the journey. And there's tolls all along the way. When I was, again, a young child, and again, I'm usually very transparent because there's certainly things that I share with audiences and viewers these days I would have never ever spoke about before. Again, being the eldest of 10, big sis, caretaker, caregiver, Dad was a good ethical man, and so we got our emphasis on ethics and education from him and Mom, and there was plenty of faith in the family. But my dad was also an alcoholic. I can admit and say that now. And that caused problems internally between him and Mom and the family. So having come from that, and then lack and the fear of loss, all of those things help shape my past. They're things that I have carried with me all of these years, not truly understanding why oftentimes I would be stuck in fear or feeling lack of confidence, not clear on who I am, where I'm going, and what I should be doing. And these are all things that most of us face every single day. So I look back at the past, but what I do know is that we can't hold on to the past. We have to continue to move ourselves forward. And so that journey from wealth to welfare means letting some things go, admitting the truth. I call it truth and transparency, admitting the truth, and then letting things go that really don't make a difference anymore, that don't matter anymore. Okay? So if you lose purpose, then you've lost hope and the aspiration to your whole being. And remember that your I am is bigger than your I do. Number 3, stability. What is stability? Well, it's a state of being stable, constancy, being steady. It's a state of thinking differently to me now, again, with that whole evolution. So taking a leap of faith and believing that you will land on your feet, believing in yourself. What we've heard a lot about, what is your why? Well, what is your why? Your compelling reason for wanting to make a move in the first place, for doing what you do, for being who you am, and your why remains consistent and grows stronger over time. It's all about, it's a process. So when you have stability, you're able to make decisions. You're not wavering. Let your yes be yes, as it says. You don't want to look back. It took me 5 years to make a decision to have enough courage, with no regrets, no second thoughts, to actually step out from federal service into entrepreneurship, into the unknown, into the uncertainty. And yet it was critical for my growth. It was critical to move myself forward to greatness, to embody and utilize all that I have, all that has been given to me, and that I'm equipped with. And so until you're challenged in some way, shape, or form, and Terrance, I remember you mentioning on a couple of other hangouts for Next Level Living several weeks ago about being part of your journey, being backed into the wall. Literally, the Lord just has a way of getting our attention and getting it fast when we don't pay attention soon enough. And so you can't escape unless you walk through the door. He
Yeah.
provides an opening for each of us.
Yeah, that was a story that I tell all the time because, I say God is a funny God. We can get so caught up in our own comfort zone that we're afraid of what's on the other side of that door. There's a saying that know the enemy within. I knew the enemy within those four walls or within my own comfort zone. And I didn't want to go to that door to see what was on the other side. So, what God will do, instead of pushing you or waiting for you to go to that door, He'll just close the walls in around you. And He'll keep pushing the walls in closer and closer and closer until the only place left for you to go to escape is through that door of the unknown. And the funny thing about it is, once you go through that door of the unknown, you find out that it really wasn't as scary as our story created it to be within our comfort zone.
Exactly, exactly. When we're purpose-driven, our circumstances will not control our outcomes. So let me give you an example. Again, back to my childhood and early adulthood, excuse me. When I was in my senior year of high school, I actually got pregnant. I had been applying for colleges. I had actually been accepted to several colleges to include full scholarships. Now, I could have allowed that to hinder me getting my higher education. I could have said, my gosh, my life is over, because again, it was during a time period where when young girls that got pregnant at that age or younger weren't allowed in school. I mean, we had to actually leave school, have baby, and then come back. Fortunately, again, it was in my senior year of high school, and I wasn't showing, so no one knew that I was pregnant. But I graduated in the top third of the class, and I also got married at 18, had my baby in September, and 2 weeks later, I was sitting in a college classroom because I was determined to get my education, to further myself along. Another Jim Rohn quote that I love, and this has fueled me ever since I found out about who Jim Rohn was, that you can have more than you got by becoming more than you are. You can have more than you got by becoming more than you are. So rather than sit back and complain or be complacent or whine, take action. Make a decision and do something positive. And that was positive for me. Another example. Again, as you mentioned, life has not been easy. I certainly probably look and appear to many people as if I got it going on. And it's not to say that I don't. In many, many ways I do. But again, that doesn't mean I've got bags of money laying around to do everything that I want to do at this point in my life. And there have been some pretty lean times. In all honesty, times where I have been well behind with IRS tax liens, 2 daughters being put through college, single mom, raising my girls. Again, I was married at 18. I think I was divorced at 22 or 23. Who's counting? Married again a second time and divorced. And so all of those, struggles and trials are wearing on a person. It does make you oftentimes want to just throw your hands up and holler, as the old Marvin Gaye song. But you have to keep pushing past the pain. And life is that's what it's about. It's finding a way to grab onto something that will pull you forward. That's next level living. Something that will keep you rising higher and higher and thinking bigger and better even about yourself. Try again. Second daughter in college, real estate career, entrepreneurship is great, but you're also dependent on other people and their activities to obviously fuel your commission-based being. So there were, believe it or not, many times where I literally had to cash in pennies to get gas for the car to keep it moving. I mean, that's a reality. So while we don't like to talk about those things, we need to admit those things so that we can clean out that clutter. Dump that wastebasket and allow, again, abundance and power and courage and all those other things that we need to fuel us forward. So that's, again, that's the reality. When they say make a way out of no way, I have lived, and I'm sure you have too, Terrance, and experienced it firsthand. And there will be more and more times certainly like that. So be careful what you think about, because the law of attraction says that positive attracts positive and negative attracts negative. The mind does not distinguish between the two. The brain doesn't know any better. It only knows what you are doing and reacting to. So be careful what you think about, and you are what you think. Balance every negative thought and experience with a gratitude challenge. And so when I find myself kind of being, topsy-turvy or upside down and feeling restless, I stop myself on any given day and I recall gratitudes, the things I'm thankful for, the things I'm grateful for, and that helps move me forward. So let's look at number 4, significance. Again, I was not always one that felt very confident, believe it or not, about myself. There's always things that we say, we're just not as good at. We're comparing ourselves with other people all the time. Significance means importance, the quality of being worthy. And oftentimes we don't feel worthy. It amazes me and it concerns and troubles me, honestly, today, that there are so many people giving up on life. I mean, I don't even like listening to the news because of all the abductions and sexual assaults and murders and you name it. It's out there. People are lost. They have lost hope. They don't know what their purpose is in life, or they certainly would be handling things in a different manner. And so our finding your purpose helps with your significance. It's character building. It helps you think from a position of strength, not weakness. It helps you know what your value is, what you have to offer this world, other people, this life. And, if we ask and then seek and knock, well, the door will be open. But we have to be bold enough, brave enough, audacious enough to do that, to ask ourselves, what's the worst thing that can happen? And no, we've heard this, doesn't mean no. It means next opportunity. It means not over. It means new ownership in the case of us business owners. There's that little girl who, and I didn't share this, but when I was a little girl, again, due to dependency and the lack and the 10 children, we also wore hand-me-down Salvation Army clothes. And we often would receive food baskets from the church or Salvation Army. So again, there were other aspects of the life and the journey there. And that little girl with those Salvation Army clothes and those holes in her shoes, she walks with me every single day. And I know what she's up to. She's trying to distract me, disturb me, and detour me from being focused and moving forward. I'm trying to reach the next level of living by reminding me of the past, by reminding me of when we didn't have and what we didn't have and how long it took to get things sometimes. So to plan and master your future, you must not remain a slave to your past. And that's an author that I don't know, but one that I love quoting. And so your purpose helps you see life for what it can be, not what it is. Let's go into number 5, and that's provision. And Terrance, you kind of alluded to this, but provision is having an amount of something that's supplied or provided. We tend to think about money, but it could be food, it could be any of a number of things. But you never know in what form or when you least expect it, a provision will show up. I mean, that's just kind of how God works. So whether it's cashing in pennies or a refund check that comes in the mail, an opportunity that's now presented itself that offers compensation or greater status, I mean, that's what provision is. And so faith is a substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things unseen. Because once it's there and you can see it, well, it's not faith anymore. I mean, so be open to receive. Be open to receive. And we can't hold on to and clench our hands, afraid to, again, let go of what we got to receive more. So it gets back to, again, that mindset. The purpose for finding your purpose is to help escape that mindset of want and lack and fear of inadequacy and loss and failure and defeating self-talk. I mean, the truth be told, I wake up every morning ready for battle. I've got to put on and gird myself because of all the fiery darts that come at me and at all of us in many, many different ways. So let me just share with you a entry from what I call my Diva Journal. because I've gone through so many circumstances, situations where, again, I just did not have. I mean, to include into my adult life, my business life, and it has not been that long ago. You know, it's still a journey. But my Diva Journal, October 2013, says, wait purposely, smile, knowing God is in charge and in control. The reality of financial drought hurts, but it's humorous. The abundance God knows is in the account and releases in trickles. And as I say, that's the truth. The sixth is time. And so finding our purpose has a timing to it. The giving of purpose comes with the assignment. I've talked about that. But you're also given time to start and finish it. And so we can choose to delay the start, never start, partially finish it, or not finish it at all. And so you'll hear somebody say, well, keep your day job until. And literally, I used all my annual leave at that full-time government job to do real estate, all my annual leave. So I left there with it depleted. If you don't love what you do, then find a way to do what you love. And so I bided my time there, but I still went to work every single day with a smile on my face, doing, again, 100% plus and doing it with excellence. 5 years of sacrificing my time to get there. And pastor and speaker and author John Maxwell says to change your thinking changes your life. Change your thinking, change your life. It's so important. Ironically, wealth, the definition of wealth and the definition of welfare are synonymous. If you look it up, they are almost one and the same. It all gets back to perspective, how you look at it. Is the glass half full or is the glass half empty? And so welfare mindset, poverty, debt, indebtedness, liabilities, financially being given something from someone else. But the bottom line to a welfare mindset is that you owe it while somebody else owns it. And there's an emotional burden, mental and physical, involved with being in a welfare existence, a welfare state of mind, I call it. You know, we've talked about the lack of self-worth, the lack of confidence, diminished identity, poor self-image. These are common things that go on every single day out there. So with that, I will turn it back to you and allow you to share any additional thoughts you've got, and then I will go ahead and wrap it up.
Wow. Fabulous, fabulous, Brenda. I just want to recap the six reasons that you came up with. You said fulfillment,
Mm-hmm.
direction, stability, significance, provision, and time. I think the biggest one of those six for me living on purpose is the very beginning one, and that is to have fulfillment. It's important for me to feel like I've made a difference. I always tell people when I meet them for the first time that I want to leave you better for meeting me than you were before you met me. And so I pour myself into each and every relationship. And I think that's the reason why this show is so important to me, because we met online, and thank God for the internet, and thank God for the connection that the internet allows, because it allows you to pour into me, and it allows me to pour into you. On a deeper level. You know, we could have met over the telephone, but it wouldn't be the same. The ability to be able to see your pretty smile, and to see the passion in your voice when you talk, and to be able to bring that in, and then to be able to reciprocate that with you, that is fulfilling for me. And it's fulfilling each and every time that a guest comes on to the show and they get the exposure that they need to move to the next level. That's living on purpose for me. That's one of the, I would have to say, the biggest of the six that you said. And running a close second is being able to have the time. that's a lost commodity on a lot of the world that continues to live the 9 to 5 comfort zone lifestyle. You know, we're beholden to giving our 35, 40 hours a week to live and pursue somebody else's dream, somebody else's purpose. Imagine where we could be if we would fully invest that same amount of time into our own purpose, into our own destiny, into our own dreams. What would you do with that time? What could you do with that extra time? You talk to, I'm sure you talk to a lot of different realtors, a lot of different entrepreneurs, Brenda, and once they get it down pat and once they're fully walking in their purpose, they're really spending maybe 4 to 5 hours a day on the purpose, and then they're spending the rest of the time with family or pursuing other dreams or pursuing other passions that they have in their life. And that is truly living life on the next level for me. So those are my two takeaways. Those two of the six very important things, important reasons to be living on purpose. Those two really spoke to me. Are there any ones that speak to you more so than the others?
For me, it would be fulfillment
Okay.
and significance. Those are the two that speak to me
Okay.
dominantly. I think the important thing is for people to realize that finding your purpose is not, again, necessarily about what you do. And they tend to think that it is, for example, and let's just take real estate, that the purpose is to list and sell homes. Well, the purpose for me, and the reason I got into real estate was really more about helping low to moderate income folk, as I put it, find stability, to learn how to increase home ownership. Because with home ownership comes stability, comes equity, comes
Mm-hmm.
generational wealth. So those were the things that were more important versus, again, just the act of selling property to someone and then moving on to someone else. So it's so important to understand that the purpose is about so much more than the material application of things, money, houses, cars, etc. And that's what I've taken away primarily.
Wow, great. So if you are watching this live, or even if you're going to be watching the replay over the next week, I invite you to again go down to the Next Level Living Facebook chat room and write in your name, where you're from, and what was your takeaway from Brenda's conversation on the 6 reasons why you should be living on purpose. We'd like to get that feedback from you. We'd like to see what your takeaways are. And Brenda, how can they get in contact with you again if they want to get more information on how they can live on purpose, or if they want to get more information on how they can get your coaching or book you as a speaker for their next event?
Absolutely. What I'd like to have everyone do is, again, go to my website, www.brendasmall.com, and actually sign up for my complimentary Powered with Potential, PWP, 24-minute wake-up consultation. That will actually help us go through where you are in your journey, where you want to go. What will it take to turn off the snooze button and wake up your potential? Because it's really all about tapping into your greatest potential, not allowing it just to lay dormant and do nothing with it. We are the creators of our own experience, so we can have much better lives if we really exercise what we got. Let's work with what we've got. Also, we've got a great Powered with Potential T-shirt that's actually on discount right now. That would make great gifts for groups, women's groups, Girl Scouts. It's really about a movement of getting women and young girls to embrace the potential that they do have, and then work it to the max.
I love it. I love it. Work it to the max. Brenda Small, you are truly powered with potential. And you were, I guess that's where the title came from. It came from your own personal strength, your own personal tenacity, your own personal style. You are powered with potential, and I am humbled to have you as one of our guests on the Next Level Living show. Any final thoughts you want to share with our audience before we let you go?
Find your purpose, tap your potential, live life on purpose, and move yourself to the next level.
Unstoppable. That's Brenda Small, ladies and gentlemen, powered with potential LLC. Check her out at brendasmall.com. So it's been another great show, and I want to leave you guys with my unstoppable thought of the week. You know, I do this each and every week to wrap up the show. It's a great show, another great show. Definitely share this, comment on it, and like it, and let your friends hear the reasons why they need to be living on purpose as well. You know, as gifts that are given to us by God, they're not given to us for us to keep to ourselves. They're given to us to share with the world. That's the number one purpose for your creation. You were created for a specific purpose by God that only you can achieve. So tap into your gifts. Figure out the reasons for your purpose, whether it's for fulfillment, whether it's direction, whether it's for that stability or significance, or whether it's for to have a greater provision from God because you shared the gifts that He gave to you, or whether it's just the opportunity to use your time to help somebody else gain time and help somebody else live their life on purpose. It's all within you. It's your gift. It was created specifically for you by God. So go and share it with the world. That's my unstoppable thought. A couple of things before we let you guys go. I want you to know that we are still looking for men of vision. You know, in November, we're going to have this unstoppable series, Brenda, called the Men of Vision series. I'm looking for 20 powerful men that have a vision, that are walking in their journey and working on living their life on the next level, so that you can tell your story to that man that hasn't figured out his journey yet or figured out his purpose yet, but knows that there's something deep down inside. You may be the only person that was created for this audience to hear, so that they can move on to the next level of whatever their purpose is. So if you are one of those men of vision, I want you to reach out to me at nextlevellivingshow@gmail.com. Nextlevellivingshow@gmail.com. Let's have a conversation. Let's see if you're a good fit for the show, and then we can get you booked in November to be part of the Next Level Living Show Men of Vision series. Powerful men doing powerful things to live their life on the next level. Also, secondly, if you're in the Chicagoland area, on October 28th, I'm part of this unstoppable group called the KC Power Players, and we're having an elevator pitch competition and networking event here in Chicago, October 28th from 5 to 8 p.m. If you have never stood in front of an audience and pitched your business, then you need to be there. If you need more funds to keep your business moving to the next level, and you've got a powerful business and a powerful pitch, you need to be there to pitch your business. If you're looking to network with like-minded people who are living their lives on the next level and want to collaborate and do business with you, then I invite you to be there as well. You can go to the Facebook page, facebook.com/KC Power Players, and get more information about that networking event coming up on October 28th. Everybody is welcome. If you're a KC Power Player member, it's free. But if you're not a member, there's a small fee to come into the event and be a part of the competition, where you can win $100 to help your business grow. So that's it. Great show. Thank you again, Brenda. Have a fabulous week. And as I like to always say, I don't want you to just have a fabulous week. I want you to have an unstoppable week. And here's to living your life on the next level. Take care, family.
Good night.